Welcome to a very pissed off part 2 of episode 44 of Cosmic Conversations. I am your psychedelic psychopomp, Chase Clarence Calloway. You are tapping into the root of the symmetry. You are tuning in to the mind of Mercury, where I would like to let you know that I am so incredibly actually angry and pissed I cannot articulate. And I'm going to do my best in this video now. Because I already recorded this. I recorded this and it was an hour and 5 minutes of me just going hard, talking about spiritual matters and just spiritual matters, talking about life and everything, just a bunch of very awesome shit. And that stuff is gone. So I'm going to be turning this into a lesson for us as we continue this part, because I literally cannot continue Cosmic Conversations without redoing this video. So why is this video gone? This video that I recorded for an hour and 5 minutes, full of just super awesome spiritual content that I will be sharing here. Okay, so just stay strapped in. Just understand, I'm gonna be really pissed off this episode. The last part. Part 2 of episode 44 of Cosmic Conversations was light. It was me being fun and happy, dressing a hater, because of course that's the whole topic for this episode 44. We're talking about addressing haters and how haters make you greater. So this has nothing to do with the topic of this video, but I'm going to make it have to do with the topic of this video because everything's connected. The topic of this video is about addressing how I would waste time. I would be wasting time as Chase Clarence Calloway if I continued to talk to the person that this video is about. Now, I'm so mad right now. I'm so fucking pissed off. This is insane. Because the technology that I'm fucking using is just garbage. Garbage. The people who make these iPads, who make these Google phones, who make the internet, who make all of this white supremacist bullshit that is meant to connect us, it's all garbage, and it's only separating us further. And everyone sees this. Everyone subconsciously sees the more that they use this technology that supposedly connects us, the more they feel separate from their actual body. This body technology is what we're creating so that we can connect with each other. This phone technology, this iPad technology, all this extra metal separates earth from water. The more I use this metal to communicate, the more my earth is separated from my water. The more my body is separated from my soul. This is why this technology causes health problems. This is why metal causes health problems. Alchemically. I don't give a fuck right now. I'm not even redoing that. Alchemically. This is why metal causes health problems. Because metal separates earth from water. The more I am focusing on this metal instead of focusing on this body, the more this body experiences dis-ease. This is why this body has dealt with so many issues from being forced to live a white supremacist lifestyle. This is why the Industrial Revolution, as we see in Decolonize Your Face, the Industrial Revolution causes crooked teeth. The Industrial Revolution causes crooked spines. The Industrial Revolution causes messed up skeletal alignment and development in general. The fact that we are living a white supremacist European Industrial Revolution lifestyle where we are communicating with metal means that we are creating health problems. So I'm trying not to give myself a fucking aneurysm from how stressed out I am for having to build my life off of communicating into metal that is not communicating into me. And if anything, it is communicating into me, but in a way that's hurting me. So I'm supposed to build up metal, but metal is breaking me down. I'm supposed to put my life into building up the internet so that the people who made the internet can make money off of me. But I am having the internet take my life. I'm on the complete opposite side. So this is the realm that we're in. This is our whole thing with indigenous people versus white people, basically. Where white people have a race indigenous people, so now we have the terms white and black. But no, I'm not going to be that brainwashed by white people who want to erase my indigenous individuality. I'm not B-Lack. I'm Chase Clarence Calloway. I'm Tahuti Trismegistus. As Hermes, thrice great, I'm an indigenous spirit who has tripled his seed to create simulations that allow spirits to connect. This is a simulation that I've created with other spirits that allow other spirits to connect. It's never about all of us being one God. I'm only in control of myself. For you to want to come into a simulation and create this technology underneath the idea that we're all an extension of one God, one imagination, and you're going to make that real by forcing me to build your world when your world isn't even worth building? And your world is only built on cannibalizing what I, as an indigenous man, have done? I hate this. I hate this so much. I hate being here so much. I hate doing all of this shit so much. I hate being alive so much. The only reason I'm doing this video again, the only reason that I am beating my heart as a spirit, the only reason I've not killed myself is because I have specifically been called here to communicate my mind into this English language in a way that you can understand. Because all the spirits that are destroying this simulation are lost in speaking English, are lost in staring at the internet, and are lost in worshiping money and thinking that they need to follow some Jewish person's rules to go to heaven instead of being happy alone. That's the and then by doing all of that, everyone's supporting the genocide of indigenous peoples. And now I live 24 years here as Chase talking about how people are actively supporting the genocide of indigenous peoples by supporting money and eating constant garbage, and no one cares. And I'm supposed to serve this. So I'm only alive because I am me. As in, this is my spiritual mission, to communicate myself into existence, because that's what everyone we're all doing, the fucking internet. So the internet is like basically all that exists in this realm in terms of how people have been pushed from connecting with each other, because the same entities that have built the internet have somehow made everyone live by the idea that breathing air is dangerous. So now most people feel like the only way they can safely communicate is to spend money and be able to afford a phone or a computer that connects them to this light grid that broadcasts what the people who made the light grid want them to see. And then you hop on the internet and everything's just about, hey, remember, it's dangerous to breathe the air. Don't breathe the air. Don't meet people. You need to spend money so that you can have Wi-Fi and only meet people through our network. And then Facebook is here like, hey, Meta is going to be the future. We're going to put billions of dollars into making sure that we can trap you in virtual reality instead of making sure that you're actually healthy and happy inside of your body. I hate this. I'm only here because I have specifically been called away from my simulation of Mercury to relay this message. I built that last video up really hard with a lot of very awesome messages. A lot of very awesome messages that are now gone. Why is that video gone? Because the technology that I'm using to communicate is not good at communicating. The people who build this technology, this technology, this phone, this iPad, these computers, this whole grid network, this matrix, this structure, all structures are reliant on communication. So the internet doesn't exist until you make a social media post, until you communicate something for other people who want to go see the internet can now hop on and see, right? So when you hop on Google, Google doesn't exist until infinite spirits outside of yourself have connected with themselves enough to create articles that you can now look up. So it's always us building life together. Like, I have to be here making this video because it's the mission. It's just so aggravating, so infinitely aggravating to have to work with white supremacists who refuse to work with you. Like, this is like the indigenous peoples being forced to work with the colonizers who want to consume their land, who are making treaties so that they can steal their bodies. But it's only from a place of not being able to communicate themselves. So because this technology is not happy alone, because this technology can't communicate internally, it needs to project itself into my space, tell me that it can kill me if I don't make money. And now I'm forced to use my ability to communicate to make money. And money, as we see in Dissect the Dialect, L is 12, M is 13, money is 4. Money is just a structure that comes from you communicating consistently. So if someone's telling you that you need to make money, all they're doing is using your ability to communicate to build their structure. That's all white supremacists have been doing by telling us as indigenous people that we need to make money. They didn't buy our land with money. The fact that we were not using money to communicate means that all the land that white people have bought with money has not been bought with money. It's been stolen by a made-up idea that they're using to rape us. And now it's evolved into this. Literally, it's evolved into this. All this technology stuff. Where now we can just, pour our heart and soul into creating a video that just gets gone. It gets deleted. Because what happened here, specifically this phone, I'm recording this into an app. That the app generally, what it's done before an update, before this update, you know how updates be, all right? We all are riding this wave. So we know, as we're all using the same technology from the same network, the same people, we can relate on this. The point of symmetry, the point of symmetricism, is that the only way that you and I can connect, the only way all of us can vibe, is if we create circumstances where we are not in control. And now we're connecting to something that is in control. That ultimately is this language, right? So this is why I'm communicating with this English language. And my ability to control how I express myself through these words then makes sense to you, and now we can build something upon it together. And this is literally me making money out of light. So me communicating is light. The more I communicate, the more my L turns to M. The more my light matters. The more my air turns into earth. Now, as Tahuti, I keep breathing out my hues of man, my and it settles into a pyramid for our ascension. It settles into a video for our ascension. It settles into some kind of structure that supports my intentions as a spirit, which is only ever to see you level up and be the best version of yourself that you can be. That's all I want. When I separate back to my world of Mercury, I want to be able to look out onto the universe and see everyone creating life happily, harmoniously, and healthily. If I don't see that, then I still have work to do. And the fact is, it's infinite. I'm always going to have work to do because I'm not in control of spirits outside of myself. There's always going to be spirits who want to control spirits outside of themselves because they don't have control over themselves. And this is why I'm always going to have to get called away to share Hermeticism and actually share it from my space, because you can't get true Hermeticism from anyone else but me. That's the point of me having to be here, literally putting this down, that I am this spirit. Anyone else trying to claim that they're connected to Thoth or Hermes or any of my bodies associated with Mercury is a liar. They're lying. They're lying to trap you in their version of heaven. So it's like, that's all we're doing. Okay, so you're either communicating to build up your heaven or you're communicating to build someone else's heaven. I'm not here building my heaven. Like, I was not born into this world. I have not lived the last 24 years because I want to. I'm not in my ego. There's not one moment in this world where I wanted to be here. I'm only here because I have to. Not need to, not want to. I have to, because it's my duty. It's my responsibility, because I have the power of creating. Because I can create consciously and shit, it's my responsibility to create even when I spend an hour and 5 minutes putting my all into a video on some technology that can't even give it back to me. Because that's what this is. My phone has 20 gigabytes of this video that I recorded for you, and it is refusing to let me access it because this app did an update. So before the update, the app would simply record my videos into the phone. Simple. So then I could just, boom, record. I'm recording, I do the thing. Once I'm done recording, I take the video that was recorded into my phone, take it into an editor app, and then I'm editing and doing the stuff. Now, because of an update, because they wanted to progress it, instead of the app recording onto the phone, it records into the app. So I can't edit it. Like, I don't have access to the video when I record it into the app. What I have to do is now save it from the app onto my phone. So the update added an extra step. Like, again, this is like all cosmically important. This is why like I'm making this video, because it's all about communication. Let me hit this. Because this happened for some reason, and it's some lesson about how all structures are built through communication, and you just naturally get to learn that I am the spirit based on how I react to shit organically. I hate wasting my time, and I do not want to be alive right now. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be big on the internet. I have to be, because I am the creator of this simulation. The medical industry is only relevant because they're using my creation to poison the environment. I'm specifically called here by indigenous nature spirits to actually stop climate change. It's all I've been thinking about my entire life. And my challenge is communicating to everyone who's creating nature right now in all of the ways that is relatable to them, so that we can all get on one accord. That's what Hermes is. This is what Hermeticism is. This is why I'm the god of communication. I'm the god of Mercury. I'm the messenger. I'm about truth. Okay, it's all about me meeting everyone where they're at, so that I can communicate to you in a way that you understand, so that we can all be connected in the universe. This is why I, as a spirit, infinitely intelligent and powerful, stoop down into realms like this and go through hell. Go through super whack experiences that I don't feel like represent me, but it's the vibe I'm writing. I'm writing this vibe so I can relate with all the spirits who are in the realm that I'm creating this simulation within, because that's how we relate. We're relating by going through the same problems, right? Everyone having to pay bills, right? We all know what it's like to want the people. We all know what it's like to feel ill, to be ill from having to spend money based on how white supremacists are colonizing our mind. Everyone knows what it's like to have quote unquote money problems, aka structure problems, because it's a vibe that we're relating on. We're all relating on the idea of worshiping white supremacists who hate us. And we're constantly in this realm. Like, I immediately am born into a world where I'm given a social security number and I have no option but to do what the white supremacist government that only shows me that they hate me wants me to do. And the past 24 years, I've been forced to have my body destroyed, have my mind colonized, and have my spirit completely disrespected by Jesus and everyone who worships him. And now the moment I fast like Jesus, all the people who worship Jesus, they don't support me in actually walking his walk. What? So you're okay worshiping and talking the talk of Jesus. You want to make money off of his sacrifice. But the moment I'm here actually fasting for 24 days, actually getting off this 19-day fast, actually fasting for months and months in between all these fasts, and just fasting for lifetimes before, again, this is what I'm on, is Hermes. You can Google me. The fact that I can do all this and still be in a realm where I'm connected with people who are like, yeah, but you're not supposed to fast. Yet, what? So you're like, you've been a Christian your whole life. This is like, so like most of the people in my life when I'm fasting and stuff, what I've dealt with as Chase. You're a Christian for most of your life. You've gone to church most of your life. You love worshiping the sacrifice of a black man who did not eat food for 40 days so that he could talk to God. But when I'm here as a black man not eating food, saying that we're all our own individual gods, you feel like you can tell me that I'm not, and that I'm part of your thing, and that you can do whatever you want to me because I'm part of your thing. This is ultimate hell. This is ultimate white supremacy. It's colonialism. I hate this stuff. I hate being here. And I hate the fact that I'm forced to have to communicate into technology that can't even afford to communicate in a way to hold my communications. Because again, this app, at the very least, before the update, would record the video into my phone. So this video that I recorded is 20 gigabytes in size. When I would record it before the update, it would save that 20 gigabytes onto the phone, and I have the file. Awesome. Great. Normal video recording technology. Standard. Now, because they released an update, instead of this app recording the 20 gigabytes directly into my phone, it records the 20 gigabytes into the app. And now I need to make sure I have like 25, 30 extra gigabytes after recording that so I can save it from the app onto my phone. So for some reason, the people who've made this technology, they feel like an update to a video recording app is to, instead of you recording 20 gigabytes straight onto your phone, you should have to record the 20 gigabytes into the app and then save a copy of that video onto your phone so you can use it. So now, like it's insane. How is this progress? And literally the fact that it goes even deeper to the reason I don't have the video is because this app has recorded the 20 gigabytes into it, but it won't even let me access the video now. So before, where it would record it straight onto the phone, now it records it into the app. And normally it's like, fine, okay, so for a 20 gigabyte file, I need 45 gigabytes because I have to copy it. For some reason, they literally think that progress is, okay, so instead of recording the video directly onto the phone, what we're going to do is make them record the video into the app so that they can only view it in the app. They can't use it. It's not a file. Like when I go to the files in the app, there's no usable files, but the size is there. So the app literally forces you to record all of your footage into it so that you can turn it into something actually usable, and it takes up over twice as much space. It is like beyond inefficient. It's actually like somehow designed to slow me down. Because I don't like, again, I'm trying not to make it personal, but it's like so ugly and stupid, and I can't, like, I don't, how is this real? Why am I supposed to be here having to use this? And this is why the universe is water-based. Because if you could actually see my fire right now and deal with my fire is not relatable. This is why we're all separated by our fire. You have no idea my imagination or my intentions. And all I can do is ignite my imagination and intentions into my soul so that I can vibrate in a way that creates energy for you to be able to perceive. Now you're perceiving my energy through this video that hopefully you're getting, because hopefully the app can actually communicate and not fail. I would not be surprised if this video fails again, because it's just this, like, this has happened before, but not like this, because they, at least before, when the app would fail, because it recorded directly into my phone, I would just have to wait like maybe half a day for the video to pop up on my phone. Now I've been waiting days because the app forces me to record into the app. For some reason, it's just like an extra step that it won't even show me the video that I recorded days ago. So I'm like, this is why I have to make this video like this. Like, I couldn't just come into this video and like do it the same way. because that's not the vibration, that's not the state that I'm in. That's not the lesson here. Like, that video went really hard, but it's gone because this technology isn't good. This technology literally is not capable of handling or processing what it's designed to. This technology is advertised as helping us connect, but again, it's only separating us more. Now, I'm spending my Thanksgiving, my Indigenous Slaughter Day, re-recording this video when I should be able to do what I originally planned. But because my spiritual mission of bringing awareness to this planet is way more important than my personal life as Chase is what makes me being able to share what I have to share possible, then I'm going to make the personal sacrifices to show up. Great power, great responsibility. Again, I just hope that me communicating into this video this time actually doesn't get wasted. So what can we learn from this? All structures are built through us communicating. And if you are communicating into someone else's structure, you are using your mind to make money for them. This is what slavery is. This is me as Chase. I as Hermes have been a slave to the white supremacist system for the last 24 years. That's why I'm so passionately able to communicate like this, and no one else will, because no one else is fucking me. Everyone else is going to try to act like they're me because they hate themselves. You can find emerald tablets acting like they're connected to me, but they're not even going to intelligently explain even a fraction of what I am naturally sharing with you in this one video. Inside of all their books, inside of all these white supremacist books, they're not going to be able to explain a fraction of what I naturally touch upon in 5 minutes of a video, because they are so limited. Like, that is the difference between physical and spiritual reality. Spiritual reality is unlimited. Physical reality is limited. When you are a spirit, knowing that you are creating physical reality so that you can limit what is unlimited, now all communication makes sense. Everything makes sense. You can't get lost. No one can tell me that I'm not me. That's what this video was originally about, right? Like a hater coming onto my Always Ascending Academy page and feeling like he's empowered enough to tell me that I'm not me. He feels like he's connected to God enough to tell me that I am not who I am. And instead, I'm actually what he tells me I am, which is his projection of the government and the social security number and all that just energy. Like, what? You're not Thoth. You're just my perception. That's all it ever is going to be. Because it's like the moment you tell me I'm not me. Oh, I'm not Tahuti. Oh, I didn't build Mercury. Oh, I'm not thrice great Hermes. Then what am I? Now you're going to project onto me. You're just me. You're just a human. You're just a white supremacist government meat sack of neurons and electrodes operating cells. And they won't even get that intelligent with it, right? Let me chill, bro. But no, the point of this video, is to not chill. Because this technology is garbage. And my spirit wants me to communicate things from this fire. Because there's a lot of power in the frequency. Like, I'm in my frequency mode. I'm in my fire right now. Like, you see me, like, moving with, you see how a fire dances? Like, a flame, that's a torch. I don't even have a fucking lighter to see the flame dance. This torch is very direct. And that's basically what I'm doing. Even then, you can kind of see that. You can't. It's invisible. Because the fire is so hot, it's invisible. On camera. It's such a high frequency, it's not dense enough for you to see. My fire, my imagination is too hot for anyone to see but me. Your imagination, your fire, your God, your ego, your number one energy is so individual, no one can see it but you. That is the point of you connecting with yourself to create a soul. So the only reason I'm expressing my individuality to you right now is because I have a soul that feels like not being alone. So because I don't feel like being alone with my ideas, I have learned this English language, I have gone through a white supremacist school system, and I have ridden this vibrational wave for the last 24 years to be able to be in a physical body that allows me to learn how to operate the technology that is an extension at this point of the physical body, right? Like, we wake up and the first thing we reach for is our phone. Like, this is how we get connected and shit. It like takes some kind of mental stuff for real for you to actively not go for your phone in like the first few hours of the day. If you're someone who does not naturally just look for your phone in the first hours of the day, then good for you. You're not connected to the matrix. You're probably actually not watching this video. Because this is how deep it, like, this is the point of technology. We're using this technology because we feel like it helps us connect. I'm making this video because my soul feels like it's going to help me connect with everyone who watches this video. So now everyone who feels like they're in vibrational resonance with me as a spirit can connect with me through this video. So now I have this vibration, you have a vibration, 2 + 2 = 4. Now we're building a structure together. But it takes me as an individual building this structure first. So it's actually then we could, numbers, whatever. I'm thinking of it more like we're live. But if you think of it in terms of I've already made this video, then you as a spirit are connecting to this video. This video is a 4. This video is a structure that was built from me communicating. And you are paying attention to it with your number 2 energy. That's you connecting to it. And then this is us creating 6. So you and I are having sex right now. We're having the number 6 right now because you are adding your 2 to my 4. I've built this structure through communicating my 3 into 4, and you are using your individual imagination to connect with me as an individual. You're using your ego to connect with my ego because you feel like connecting with a space outside of yourself. And that's what that looks like right now. So now you're able to learn about who I am and how I connect with myself based on how I'm communicating into this structure that you are connected to. Thus is life. That's why 6, like, then everything is life from there. Because this is like, now you can see how anything that you do in your life is you as an individual connecting with a structure that another spirit built through communicating. So the medical industry has stolen my caduceus and they're using it to build their system because I've already built my caduceus. I've already built my structure through communicating. And because it's such a solid structure, now these people who want to build a structure off of my structure are going to colonize my creation and use it. That's why the medical industry uses a staff of Hermes Trismegistus. So the fact that I have to communicate into this technology, just for this technology to not even be able to communicate internally to actually give me what I created is insane to me. Like, I'm so beyond pissed off about this. I really hope that I can get this video out so that we can just continue on with Cosmic Conversations. Because I have so many I have so many questions to get into videos to address. And I'm just dealing with like all the other series and everything that else I've been doing. I mean, I can only record so many things at one time. I'm not at the point like Chadwick Boseman playing me in Gods of Egypt, where I get to have my Naruto shadow clones all doing videos at the same time. That'll be lit. Like, that'll be lit. Okay, to have reliable, because I can only trust myself. That's a fact, and Anubis. But I can only trust myself. So, yeah, I would love to have shadow clones, like Chadwick Boseman when he's playing me in Gods of Egypt, where I'm just in my pyramid. I'm in my sanctuary, keeping all my records with all of my clones. Yeah, that's lit. Absolutely. I would love to be able to make multiple videos in multiple rooms, in multiple locations, all at the same time, just like uploading, so that we can have constant, super awesome Mercurian spiritual content from the space of Hermes Trismegistus. The fact is, I'm not on that shadow clone level as of right now on Thanksgiving in 2021. We'll see what the future holds. Right now, I'm in the logical place of feeling like it doesn't really make sense that a spirit would get to animate its soul through multiple bodies in one simulation at one time. So like to me, it wouldn't make sense that my space, that I as an individual space, would be communicating my individuality through multiple bodies inside of an individual simulation. Like this is like kind of like I can see how it's possible because anything's possible. I can see how anything's possible. But when I'm talking about what makes sense and what's fair and balanced for when we're actually connecting in the universe, it's not really fair and balanced for you as a spirit to be in a simulation where you have multiple bodies while other spirits don't. Because all of us as spirits are supposed to be relating on the fact that we're all individuals. So it doesn't matter how big of a spirit I am as Tahuti, Trismegistus, I'm still an individual spirit, meaning then I'm still a child. And like that's where the child is the result of the masculine and feminine coming together. And that's really what it is. The fact that I as a spirit can experience myself means that I am an individual that is created from having internal sex. I am the child of my own man and woman. My man is my fire, my woman is my water. My man is my ability to project a thought. My woman is my ability to reflect a thought. My child is my ability to balance a thought. So the only reason I can communicate anything right now is because my child, my mind, is constantly balancing what my man is projecting into my woman. So my man with his dick, he's projecting an idea into the womb, into the feminine, watery vagina of my woman, and then she brings life to that through the child. And this is happening constantly internally. So now you can see my mind communicate through my body based on my vibrational resonance and all that. So that's the only way I can communicate. Literally, every time I have an intention of what I want to communicate, that's me as God projecting out a fire into my soul. So now my frequency stirs up my vibration gets higher, and then my woman rises to match the man. And now that's where my subconscious mind literally starts to look for the words that I as Chase have learned up to this point so that it can make its man possible. So now my woman can bring man to life through the child. Because the man is unrelatable. Like, you're never going to actually see me as God. God is infinitely unrelatable. God as fire literally can only be seen by the space creating it. So if you want to interact with me as an individual God, it has to be through the universe. It has to be through a veil of water. You see that? The only way you could possibly see my fire is if we're both connected to the same body of water. So now when we both ignite our fire into this body of water, we're both creating children, we're both creating air that can reflect upon each other. And this is where our children can now build structures and bodies together based on how they're in resonance. And then our bodies can perceive other bodies that we're in resonance with as well. And then spirits get lost in light with their minds. And here we are. So, just like, I'm just upset because whatever. I had so much, that video is awesome. And it's gone, and I wasted so much of my time waiting for this technology to just give it back to me. Just waiting. Like, okay, well, if I keep refreshing, hopefully the app, like, it's 20 gigabytes. I see that it's taking up space. Hopefully it just pops up. Never. So I had to reconcile and just realize, like, okay, well, I either keep wasting my life, I keep wasting time waiting for technology to give me my creation, or I create something new. So here we are, creating something new, because this technology actually just consumed my creation and completely wasted my time. And the only way that I'll be able to communicate with you is if I persevere and make this video again. So I just, all this to really expose who I am, because the fact is, no one else thinks like this. No one else thinks like me. And your ability to think is what separates you. That's the point of my creation of Thoth, or Thoth, or Tahuti in general, and just Mercury being about thinking, being about intellect. Your ability to communicate with yourself is what separates you from all other spirits. And you can only communicate with yourself as far as you believe in your own thoughts. So that's what I'm talking about here. Your communication is your heir, your child, your thought is your man, and your belief is your woman. If you're not able to fully believe, if you don't feel good about your own individuality, your own ego, then you're never going to communicate yourself in a way that matters. Literally. Like, you see that? You see how it all plays out elementally, and then I can correlate it in whatever scientific English words we've got popping, because it's all just representations of the spirit. We just need to know about spirit first, and that we're creative. All right, so as Chase Clarence Calloway, you look at my whole life, everything that I've done, I've always been an original artist. And like, anyone trying to take credit for my art is just more white supremacy. And that's what Christianity is, where no matter what I make as an artist, I'm being taught by a system that God owns what I create. And that's the ultimate desire of the Jewish Christians who have come into indigenous lands and have forcibly spread genocide to take over everything that we did create. And their only way to make us create for them is to teach us that we are an extension of their imagination. When in reality, if we were an extension of your imagination, you would not be colonizing our land. You especially wouldn't be telling us to worship the idea of being all loving while you don't love us. Like, what? Like, Christianity has shown nothing but genocide, evil, and disgusting brutality to indigenous peoples. Like, that's all it's done. But it completely relies on saying, hey, but you're supposed to love being destroyed by us. You're supposed to love being enslaved by us, though. If you don't love being enslaved by us, if you don't love causing climate change and land that we're stealing from you, you're the problem. This is a subconscious world that I've been living in for 24 years. This is why I can communicate about it, and I hate this stuff. And I fully empathize with everyone, bro. I feel the world, bro. Like, it's all one vibe. That's the point of us writing one vibe. Like, when you're connected with yourself as a spirit, you have to be more separate from people, because you become more of an empath. Just in terms of you become more reflective to other spirits' vibrations, because you're more in tune with the universe instead of feeling separate by it. When you feel separate from the universe, you are only at the whim of the vibration. When you feel connected to the universe, you are now much more aware of the vibration, and you're able to surf it. But because you're more aware of it, you can still get washed under from your awareness, basically. So people who are unaware are always washed under. People who are aware can still be washed under, but it's about using your ability to be aware to walk on water, like Jesus. That's the point of water fasting. You fast so you can walk on water instead of drowning in water. It's not a history book, that book. It's not about a man literally walking on water. So now, instead of you actually fasting, just support climate change and eat 3 times a day. No, it's about literally how you're supposed to fast so that you can walk on your feelings of wanting to eat and walk on your chaotic emotions, and you can actually breathe the air, and you can actually see God, the sun. You can actually see the sun in the sky, because you're the sun in the sky making your body possible, because it's all your simulation. You as a space have to create this simulation so that you can experience yourself, and everything is a different aspect of you. Again, the fact that we together are in a shared space, though, means that we are all creating life together. We're all creating this world together, and your body is a physical manifestation, the physical representation of you creating your own world internally, so that you can get connected with spirits who have created a world that is in resonance with yours. That's why all of our bodies, although they look different, they don't. Right? Like, as humans, we all have different details, but we're the same. Or else we wouldn't actually be able to play the same game. We wouldn't be able to resonate, vibe. Our bodies would be too different. That's the point of an alien. When we think about aliens versus humans, an alien is four-dimensional energy. As humans, we're here connecting. Or as humans, we're here communicating. Possible because of connection. But as humans, we're three. We're here communicating. An alien would be a four. An alien would be boxing in how we communicate so that they can make money off of how we communicate. So now all of us as humans, we're naturally communicating. But based on the tools that we're using to communicate, an alien can build a structure out of that. So that's literally what's been happening on this planet, especially with this English language. I mean, again, this language, we can only connect then on the subconscious of the spirits who made it. So every word means something, every letter means something, everything means something to the spirits that created it. And we are learning about the spirits who created the tools that we're using to communicate. And then we can learn about ourselves based on how we feel about these tools. I've learned about myself in this video. So, I mean, and you know what? And yeah, I'm saying I hate being here, but a big reason why I do love being out of my space is learning about myself. And yeah, whatever, I guess. Like, I had to like get humble. Like, I hate being here, and this place sucks. And it does, but also it's impossible to fully learn about yourself if you're alone in your own space. So as a spirit, it's not healthy, smart, or good for me to just be alone in my worlds. Like, it's not at all intelligent for me to just build simulations alone and not build at least a system. That's the point of Mercury. You look in astrology, you see my planet, that's my space. You see my simulation of Mercury, that is my world that I have built so that I can communicate my spirit into the universe in a way that makes sense. So this is why everything I'm doing here is Chase Clarence Calloway. Makes way more sense than the white supremacists who have stolen my creations and are causing climate change with them and spreading massive disease inside of all these humans. So, again, spiritual versus physical. The physical only makes sense from the spiritual. When you know that you're creating life, now everything makes sense. You just have to learn how. The moment you believe you're created by life, now things don't make sense. And now you're constantly having sense made for you. That's what science is. Like, that's what all these white supremacist systems are. That's what this white supremacist technology is teaching us that we are not already able to create. So now we're forced to create in the way that they want us to create. And now we're just constantly limited by how they create. And their version of creating is wanting to force us to create for them. So now everyone's limited, and it's just a two-way street of limitation and hell and boo. So that's why this technology is so bad. Like, it's literally made by people who can't communicate. Like, if this app, if this phone, if these iPads, if these TVs, if these cars, if all this technology, if this industrial revolution type technology, if all of this Martian technology was created by spirits who knew how to communicate, it would not be causing climate change. And it would not be failing so much. And really causing climate change is the ultimate failure. How are you going to build technology that destroys the environment the technology is reliant on? I cannot imagine. Again, that's why they look at the pyramids. They're like, wow, he must use Jewish slaves. Get your disgusting projections out of here. Like, literally, like, it would be impossible to build those pyramids with humans. Like you would have to be a spirit building those pyramids. That's why these scientists will never understand how I built the pyramids. Like, I'm in a spirit mode. I'm in a higher vibrational spirit body. I'm building it from the top down, not the bottom up. All right? Nothingness, fire, water, air, earth. Okay? Not like these Jewish people who enslave indigenous peoples and are like, all right, build your earth and make the earth look like this so we can communicate and then connect and now support the imagination that allows us to feel like a true spirit. And then these structures are always falling because they are not built from the top down. They're built from the bottom up, and thus they're not even built with the vibration. They're built with energy. The vibration is water. If you want a structure that actually lasts, you're going to build it from your soul. You have to build it from your vibration. This is why it's important that you know who you are. This is everything I do with Hermeticism and Semitism. You have to be connected with yourself so that you can actually have your own soul, have your own universe. And now, when you step out into the universe, with your internal universe, you have a good time. Because everything that you're going through is in vibrational resonance with how awesome your internal universe is. So this is how we all create the universe together, by combining our internal universes, our souls, into one body of water. This is why we can even communicate at all. The only reason that you're able to observe my body is because we're both vibrating in one body of water. But I am animating this body, that I'm animating this earth body inside of this bigger body of water from my fire body, which is created by my spirit body. My fire body is my imagination, which no one can see. My imagination has no bounds. My imagination knows no limits. It's alone in that. So the point is, we have to, the moment we create something to express how unlimited we are, we have limited ourselves. And this is the point of all language, all L, being the 12, being the light, being the clock. Because we feel like connecting our clocks together and we feel like cycling through time forever, we're going to use L, we're going to use love, language, logic, law to figure out how we can communicate in a way that then makes, if I get that, M, boom, L into M, get that thumb out. L, oh my God, bro, comedy, whatever, M. Because we want to make our light, we want to make our clock, we want to make the way we cycle through our emotions and connections, that thumb is comedy, matter. We want to make our light mean something. That's why the mind is a muscle. That's why I can move my muscles with my mind to make money. See how the spirit is? I'm Hermes. So, and look, like, I don't even care about being Hermes, bro. Like, that's why this is comedy. When, like, this person is trying to claim that I'm claiming, it's just like, bro, like, I only care about being symmetry. The fact is, I've naturally built everything as symmetry so that then when my spirit reveals to me that I am naturally this spirit from the past, it only makes sense from my individuality and I'm not attached to those past stories. But I can build upon those past stories because that's me. How dare you tell me I'm not me? So my spirit has specifically lined it up so that I've like been fasting. I've been doing everything that I've been about organically as Tahuti and Hermes and the creator of Mercury my whole life. And I'm only now using these terms because I'm 24 and it's go time. It's time to relate in greater ways because we are in this special stage of life where, I mean, the whole point is projection is perception. I can't have people perceiving me the way they perceive themselves. Everyone is in hell internally. Like, I know who I am. So great power comes great responsibility. It's my responsibility to make this video and show you who I am. So now you can connect with yourself and realize who you are. Because I intentionally have come here. I don't know anyone in my life who feels like they were intentionally born into this realm so that they could do a mission. That's been me. That's been me. That's been me. So I'm unrelatable in that. See how I, as God, my individuality is not relatable with everyone. So the fact is, we're connecting. We're all able to connect because we're all individuals. I know that because I'm so connected with my individual, you are an individual. If you are someone who is a Christian or believes in a religion and you don't believe I'm an individual, then that's fine. I know that you're an individual believing in someone else as an individual. And that's just what collectivity is. So there's either you believe in yourself as an individual, or you believe that another individual made you. And that's the difference between indigenous and white supremacists. An indigenous spirit believes in themselves as an individual. Individual, indigenous, indivisible. They cannot be divided from themselves. They cannot be separated from themselves. How is that possible? Your feeling is what makes your body matter. And your mind is communicating that. How could you be separated from yourself? That's indigenous. The opposite of indigenous is a white supremacist spirit, or a white person in general. But a white supremacist spirit is someone who feels like they're better than indigenous people because they're connected to the one God that controls everyone. So because they've completely disconnected from their own spirit, and thus they have no empathy for anyone else, they now get to feel superior and justify genocide, slavery, murder, everything. All the evils. I've learned a lot this lifetime being here. I've learned a lot. I've gone through a lot. Dealt with a lot of traumas, dealt with a lot of whack situations, a lot of whack social things, a lot of whack emotional things, a good number of whack physical things, and a lot of being unrelatable to people. And being unrelatable, me like literally having cults of women threatening sexual harassment and stuff to me, and like focusing on me in super unhealthy ways way before I realized I was Hermes, way before I realized that I was Thoth, way before I realized that that was stuff from past lives that is coming up in this life. I had to organically deal with that as Chase, and organically deal with the repercussions of being completely unrelatable to everyone in my life, as I was organically complaining about how I didn't feel safe or happy in my space because women are constantly like sexually harassing me, because we're in this toxically masculine society where people don't think that men can get sexually harassed. And women have gone wild on me. Women go crazy. Women, when girls want things, they go crazy for it, bro. Because we're all spirits. Okay, so yeah, men project really hard, but women, they're men too. Men are women. Like, as we can see in toxically masculine society, a man is only toxically masculine if he's actually super emotionally irrational. So the idea that men are rational is like one of those super emotionally irrational ideas that allow men to be irrational while appearing rational. And this is why everyone's a woman. So like everyone does what they want. Humans are emotional creatures. Literally, humans. All of us are doing what we want, but we're making it look rational. Literally, we are channeling our elements into numbers. Our elements are feminine energy, our numbers are masculine energy. We do what we want, but we make it make sense. That's how life works. So, right, men or women. Toxic masculinity, and toxic masculinity being the epitome of like men being actually super feminine and not being able to handle their own emotions, so they project their emotions outward. And then their ultimate version of that is projecting out that women do that. When literally women are reflective and women connect with themselves way more and thus are silent more. Men are the ones speaking because they're literally projective. Women are the ones who are reflective and connective and more like the moon. But it's so funny. Oh my gosh. So, how did I even get here? Because we did have a point. Yeah, women are, because men are women. Women are men. Like, women are very thoughtful. Their ability to be direct in indirect ways knows no bounds. That's where magic comes from. Like, what? So, I've gone through a lot in this life of me literally realizing that I am this spirit. and dealing with all the negative subconscious stuff that only I can know as a spirit. Only I can like know what I've gone through in the past and how it's reflected in this life. So when someone is trying to tell me that I'm not me, I make a video like this. Here we are with a two-parter. And I mean, I'm remaking it because the last thing failed, and it just has to be a whole lesson of technology and permanence, whatever. So, and now this video is slightly longer than the last one because I was wrapping up around this point. So, hey, that's because I literally had to spend 20 minutes addressing why this video is different. Whatever. Again, we're learning together. All right? And if there's anything that I do love, it's learning. I just also love being supported and being with my family. So I'm glad that I can be with my dog. I love Anubis. And even like that, bro, the fact that like I'm so organically, literally, just connected to all the spirits that, again, I know. Like, if you're going to try and tell me I'm not me, and you don't even care about the people I'm connected to, like, you feel like you can tell me that I'm not Thoth, but you don't even care that Anubis is my best friend through space and time. That just shows, like, okay, ultimate projection. Like, you're literally talking at me, but not with me. And this is like the big difference that I have to learn, that we all have to discern, as far as us learning about dealing with haters. Because, I mean, I don't care for that word. Like, it's kind of funny. So I'm just using it to relate because we have it. That's the point of every word. We're using words to relate, whatever the fuck, certain energies. But, I mean, I wouldn't, like, hater is, like, whatever. It's a funny word to me, honestly. I will leave it there. But the point of hater to me is that a hater makes us greater. Anytime someone's hating on you, they're showing you what not to be and what not to do. And then they're showing you how to connect deeper with yourself so that you can communicate a better structure from there. So this is why the most productive thing for me to do as Chase Clarence Calloway, as Tahuti, is not to talk to this person directly, right? Not to like actually reply to their messages and speak with them, because they're in hell. They're not intelligent in any way, shape, or form. And I'm saying that from a fiery place, of course. Everyone's intelligent in some shape or form, or else they wouldn't be able to communicate. But as far as where I'm at, this person's not intelligent, so it would not be intelligent for me to continuously connect with them. It's more intelligent for me to build something that allows all of us to communicate and connect on how to address energies that this person is in, so we can build a better future. So that's where this person, like, my whole point of talking about the Emerald Tablets and me just being back speaking English is that I'm decolonizing the lies that the people who have created English have put into my text. So when I'm dealing with someone who's just constantly like talking about what I wrote in the tablets, and literally they've only read the English versions and they don't care about how I keep saying that the English versions are white supremacist lies of true indigenous hermetic spirituality, then like I would be in hell to keep talking to that person. Like, I'm not going to change their mind. What I can do is build a structure for all of us to learn so that we can handle people like this into the future. So, this person, like, they're basically super lost in the Jesus energy. Because this is like everything that I've just talked about here, right? With indigenous individuality and you being connected to yourself. Great power comes great responsibility. It's all about how you are communicating yourself into existence, so you are responsible for your own circumstances. Your imagination is an expression of your circumstances, so you're responsible for your own imagination and everything that results from it. For some reason, Jewish, Christian, white supremacist governments they have an imagination that they don't want to be responsible for. So they want to project their imagination into our space. That looks like this technology that can't even work properly. That looks like money stealing indigenous lands. That looks like made up concepts being used to cause climate change by transforming what was already working into something that doesn't work now. Because it's all about in imagination. It's all about this fire being introduced into nature, but in a way that's not responsible. So white people want the power, but they don't want responsibility for the power. So that's where you get people who, for some reason, that's like always confused me, but I just said what it is. But it's still confusing to me, but that's what it is. Like, they want the power, but they don't want responsibility for the power. So you as a white person, you feel like you can tell me that I'm not God because you're not God. So because you are not creative, because you're not the creator of your circumstances, I'm not the creator of my circumstances. And this is how the indigenous peoples got all their land through North, South, and Central America taken. Because white people, the European colonizing crusaders with this mentality, came over and were thinking like, oh, wait, but we're all an extension of one God. God wants us to have this land. We didn't create our own circumstances. I mean, we didn't create this imagination. I'm not creative, so they're not creative. So let's just eat them. Let's eat these Native Americans. Let's cannibalize their flesh and turn it into America so that now we can live out the imagination that God wants us to live out, but we're not responsible for it. And now you feel like you can tell me that I am not creative from your space of not being creative. Why? Like, how could you possibly feel like you're simultaneously God yet not? If you don't feel like you're God, then you don't feel like you have the power to tell me who I am. Yet for some reason, you do feel like you're God, so you can tell me that I'm not God, so that I can connect with you about how you're not God, and we need to actually serve one God by following someone else's rules. And then I, as Hermes, I'm like, yeah, but they're actually using Hermeticism to manipulate you into thinking that. And then you're lost because you don't actually want to realize that. And then I had to realize, okay, wait, as a spirit, you want to be here. You want to be in hell, and I was supposed to learn from you. Got it. Now I can communicate differently. So we'll finish up reading what this Jesse person said. They sent me a message, and in the last video I was about to go read it, they deleted it. That message is gone. So we won't be reading that here. All right, we'll just pick up. Your text, you're a joke. Provide proof and change all these wrongs you say have been done. It would be a simple matter for a true incarnation of Thoth. Since you cannot, I'm done with you. Right? So this person, and of course, like, demons love to hear themselves speak. Everyone, blah, blah, blah. As far I'm saying everyone. As far as like demons love to hear themselves speak, because when you're a demon, that means you're really in your structure energy. And that means that you're all about communicating more structures into existence, because that's what it means to be demonic. We don't need to make it negative, but it is about separating by creating more structures. So when you're just talking, right, and like people are just like arguing, that's people like getting in their demonic energy, because they're using their ability to communicate to just build structures. But it's like, for what? Like, is it like holy? Like, is it for God? Holy as in, is it for your fulfillment, or do you feel unfulfilled? Right? So when people are having lots of conversations about how unfulfilled and negative and sad they are, that's demonic, because that's like building the structure to like make that more and more real, and they're like stabilizing it. So that's where everything's projection and stuff, because this person's only able to communicate to me based on how they perceive and connect it to Thoth. The fact is, they don't care about the Caduceus. They don't care about Ninkish Zeta. They don't care about Zoroaster. They don't care about Idris. They don't care about Quetzalcoatl. They don't care about Hermes. They don't care about Hermanubis. They don't care about Chikatet. They don't care about Mercury. They don't care about anything else that I as a spirit have done. So they're obsessed with Thoth because they're just so limited. And that's the whole thing. Like, that's like one of the telltale signs of a demon right there. Demons are limited to what is like already created in the past. I'm obviously Hermes because I'm not even caring about clinging on to that stuff. I'm symmetry. I'm making all this new stuff. The fact is, all this new stuff is a natural expression of who I've been already. And it only makes sense correlating it, because that's the point. So when other people are communicating, then I can very easily just expose like, yeah, well, they're not even communicating from past lives. They're showing me that they want me to be wrapped up in their perception that I was just born into this world and I'm trying to figure it out like them, when I'm not. I've been figured it out. And I'm just leveling it up by helping you figure it out when I get specifically called away into realms. And then I'm always figuring more things out because life is always changing, because we build infinite simulations with light. We build everything with light and then waiting in it to make it dense, heavy flesh. And that's just every single thing. So again, like, I naturally think like this. I fast, I do my stuff, like psychedelic symmetry, everything's lit. I'm communicating, mental Merkaba, flying through the astral realm, going to other simulations, doing my thing. Like, he can't tell me anything. That's why we're just making this video and leveling up in reference to being inspired by the fire of a hater. So when someone shines their fire at you and you breathe in and like get affected, that's inspiring. Now you just learned about yourself based on interacting from this other individual. Like, you could not imagine everything I'm saying right now. Like, that's not your imagination. Now you get to learn about yourself based on how you're able to connect with the way my imagination is channeled into chi through this vessel. So this person's like in that Jewish Jesus energy of not wanting to be responsible for their circumstances, so they feel like they need to be saved by someone outside of themselves. That's the whole point of like, you need to be saved by someone. You have to sacrifice yourself to someone, all this superhero stuff. Like, you would only feel like you need to be saved by someone else if you were somehow taught that you did a bunch of negative, wrong things. And then chances are whoever's teaching you that has done way worse stuff than you. Chances are whoever's teaching you that you're of sin is way more of sin than you could ever imagine. And that's just where we can historically look at how did Jewish Christian religions become powerful in North, South, and Central America? Oh, right, by doing everything that they're judging us for and saying that we're of sin for doing. So, welcome to the game. It's a joke, haha. It's a joke. As Lil Dicky, the very famous Jew, says. What? That show is deep. It's all about Jews cannibalizing indigenous peoples. Literally, Lil Dicky, way to go. Way to go, Dave. Like, shout you out. As far as everyone playing the game, you communicating to build that show so I can communicate about it and we can all watch it, yo. Good work on that show. Very fire 2 seasons. Watch Dave if you haven't. Literally all about how the music industry is completely built by Jews cannibalizing indigenous peoples. It's like, that's the entire show. It's amazing. All right. So this person continues, I've only engaged with you thus far because, as a tablet say, discourse with the ignorant as well as with the wise. Like, so stupid. Like, again, because it's all just based in them reading English. And they just read, like, the English stuff that I'm here to dispel. And they don't even get the original point of the post. That's like, this is why projection being perception, everyone is wrapped up in their own universe. You can't perceive a universe outside of yourself. So, like, you have to use your mind to actively get out of your own emotions. You have to use your ability to communicate, your ability to travel, to actively get out of your own soul so that you can see more things outside of yourself. Otherwise, you'll just be in your own home. And that's the spiritual essence of just life and leveling up and doing anything. So if people aren't willing to like communicate in a way that allows them to get out of their feelings, then they're only going to be dragging you into their feelings. And that's what someone drowning in their emotion and being like, oh, help, I'm drowning, and then pulling you into it so that you can drown looks like. That's why Hermes doesn't just go into simulations that don't specifically build up the consciousness to hit up his line and call him. Like, that's not smart for me to do that. And then, of course, this person, like, they don't have their own platform to talk about the Emerald Tablets because they're not spiritually in alignment like that. But they will come leech onto mine and literally say, again, If anyone wants to gain or discuss any real knowledge and wisdom of the Emerald Tablets, feel free to message me. So it's like, what? Like, you're literally just going to tell people what you read from the English whitewashing on Amazon. Like, bro, like, we are in hell. Hell is literally connecting with anyone outside of yourself. Hell is me having to use this phone, this technology, and not being sure if when I turn this video off, if it's actually going to be here, or if I just somehow wasted my time again, and me not knowing. Versus in heaven, where I'm in full control because I created all the technology, and it's a perfect representation of how I communicate, which makes sense. My response to him: lol, you keep saying the most irrational white supremacist stuff. You really think you know me because you read some English, yet you still can't answer my questions, and you're not even intelligent on true spiritual matters. I'm giving you attention because you're clearly passionate about me, but your white supremacist colonized ego is blinding you from true wisdom. Now, you're all religious and looking for someone to fix the problems you perceive, when in reality, that's not how communication works. Because again, if you feel like you need to be saved by someone outside of yourself, why? What is up in your circumstances that you don't like? Because no one can see your circumstances but you. You're bringing your circumstances into the universe. There's no reason to feel like you need to be saved by someone outside of yourself. That's just a representation of how you wish your spirit would save your mind from believing that you're the body. That's all it is. That's all it is. So now here I am as Hermes, communicating as a spirit, aware that I'm in a body in a way that allows you to communicate with yourself so that your spirit can break you further out of whatever light constructs you're trapped in that are separating you from actually being truly healthy, happy, and harmonious in your hermetic heaven. The fact that you don't care about those other lives shows how singular-minded and limited your awareness truly is. So keep doing your ego thing and stay limited to white supremacist witchcraft. I've already dissected the tablets you think you learned about me from. So when you learn to listen, I hope you will. Love you. And I genuinely do love you. I love everybody. He replies, because Thoth was worshipped and labeled a god by lesser people means nothing. That's racism. So it's so funny how most of the time, like, religious people are straight up racist. Like, it almost always correlates. The moment you believe that someone was created by another god, like, you become a white supremacist. That's why I use the words indigenous versus white supremacy. An indigenous spirit is just an individual. They're happy alone. A white supremacist spirit is not happy alone, so they believe that we're all an extension of one God who is alone. But because we're all an extension of one God, we don't have to feel alone because we're all one imagination. Like, complete opposite ideas. The complete opposite, like, the one is full projection, the other is full reflection. So when he says because Thoth was worshipped and labeled a god by lesser people means nothing, he's talking about the Egyptians, the Mesopotamians, the Mesoamericans, brown people in general. He's racist. This is a white person, whatever. Not once has Thoth himself ever claimed to be anything more than one of the children of men. And what does that even mean, a children of men? We're all children of men. I've explained that earlier in this video. We are all our minds being created from our man and woman coming together. We're all our own children, our own children, our chi, being created from our fire and water combining, from our thoughts and feelings combining. It's not a little historical thing. What men? Like that doesn't even make sense. Like, it's like, just shows again how singular-minded people who really love to fight are, especially. So, like, watch out. Like, when you see people who really want to fight, don't really fight people, you know, because it's not worth it most of the time. Like, it's not worth it for me to directly fight him. It's only worth it for me to build this video so, again, we can learn and level up. And then he can come watch this video, watch it over and over, and now he can level up. Instead of having me stoop to his level, and now we're just drowning in his emotions together. Because he doesn't know what these words that he's using even mean. And then, of course, he starts talking to me as the projection of himself. You can't accept your own self, so you're blaming other people and even an entire race for your own shortcomings. What is that? How? Like, how? He like that is like, in what way am I blaming another race for my shortcomings? I don't even have shortcomings. So what are you talking about? I have no shortcomings, and I'm not blaming another race for them. I'm talking about objectively how English and Christianity have been spread throughout North, South, and Central America through violent genocide, and indigenous peoples have had everything stolen from them. If you're going to not care about that, then yeah, you're showing me you're racist. That's just more of the racist stuff. I suggest you love yourself first so you can then stop placing blame elsewhere. Again, like more projections of him. Because the fact is, he wants to be saved by Thoth. He's asking me, like, if you're really Thoth, then you'll save me from myself. You would save me from my circumstances and correct the world. And you would correct everything I see wrong in the world. If you're really this God, you would actually serve me. Like, how dare you, right? Like, it's that disgusting flip of you have no empathy. And this is what a white supremacist is, literally. Notice how slave masters were offended when their slaves would run away. Like, this is like the emotional, weird, manipulated world of like literally a white supremacist or just a white person in general, someone who identifies with that label enough to feel triggered when I use the words. Like if you identify with that enough, like this is like that emotional world of like you want to support the genocide of indigenous peoples while appearing like you're not. And that literally looks like America. That looks like slave masters enslaving indigenous peoples while being offended that they want freedom somehow. And then being offended and having their feelings hurt when their slaves would run away and try to break out of the plantation and like cross the river and everything. It's what? Like that victim mentality. Amazing. I pity you for the same reason I seek wisdom in the tablets. So the fact is he seeks wisdom in English. Like he's so limited that he can't even conceive that the people who created English have colonized these tablets for indigenous peoples, despite this is what the post is about. So he's not even on here talking about the post. He's just, again, projecting out his limited understanding of life. So I get to learn about him. We get to learn about him. You get to learn about me. We're leveling up. It's cool. I get to learn about me. There is rampant ignorance in the world spread by people like you. Like how? What are you talking about? People whom cannot accept the reality they live in and can only feel well after spreading hate and ill will. So it's funny because this person has obviously been hateful this whole time and has had ill will towards me this whole time. And I'm only here talking about how you love yourself and connect with yourself and actual true hermeticism, not getting connected to one all and all that's no. So it's just, again, projection of who this person is. Because at some point when you listen to someone long enough, it becomes them just projecting their world at you. Like it usually starts out with listening and people going back and forth and being reflective. But generally the longer conversations go on, people get more comfortable just projecting their world at you. This is why in relationships, if you really want to learn who someone is, you kind of got to wait in that. You got to wait. You got to wait a bit. Because people are only going to start projecting at you versus reflecting what they think you want to see, like the longer you go and the more comfortable they become in the relationship with you. And then this person continues. This gets to like some weird like KKK like police energy. They're the same. I seek to correct this injustice while you seek to spread and deepen it. Like correct what injustice? There's rampant ignorance in the world spread by people like you. People who cannot accept the reality they live in. He's talking about earlier like how there's a war between darkness and light, and we cut out naturally because technology is whack, as the whole point of this episode seems to be. So, whatever. We were at the point of, yes, darkness and light fighting each other, and how this person, Jesse, completely believes, based on him reading the white supremacist version of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, that light and darkness are at an eternal battle forever, and he needs to side with light. And you see how we've already covered how that's racist. When you watch tablet talks, you know that that's racist. Like, we know that light is your fire and darkness is your water. So to say that they're fighting forever, no, but their version, their weaponized version of what I originally meant, this is what I meant. Light and darkness fighting together forever. No, they're dancing together to make colors. How about that? Light and darkness dance together to create colors. And then people get demonically lost in all these colors. And that's life. So you call that light your fire, that darkness is your water, the color is the air, the communication of these things. And then the demon is a structure that is created from the colors becoming condensed and stable. Now we have flesh, right? So now I'm a color, and now you can get lost in calling me a certain race based on how you're lost in light. But I'm not this color, just like I'm not this body. I'm just using this body, I'm using the color of this body to communicate myself into reality. So that's like the only way that light and darkness are fighting forever. But of course, the way white supremacists perceive my teachings based on their own soul and how they feel internally or whatever, they take it and they want to weaponize it, of course, as you need to worship light and hate darkness, which means you're going to worship thought and hate feelings. And how that translates into you actively living your life every day is worshiping the language that you use to communicate and connect with yourself while hating your feelings. So now you hate yourself, but you're using all the feelings that you have about hating yourself to build the English language. Because at least you can love English, at least you can love light, at least you can love everything that allows you to connect through this language, through light. But again, like we know as hermetic, somatic properties, everything that I just organically talk about is symmetry. It is impossible to love someone when you don't love yourself. It is impossible to enjoy spending time with someone else if you don't enjoy spending time with yourself. It's impossible. It's impossible to get out of your own feelings. Your body only matters because your soul is animating it. So this is why it's stupid for me to like actually think I could change this person's mind, even though they're really passionate about me as Thoth. So then that's where, based on my relationship with my creation, I care about this person and I care about communicating with them. But then the longer I wait in the relationship with them, I learn not to waste my time even longer. Like this is what all relationships are, right? The longer we talk to anyone, we learn if that's someone we want to spend more time with or less time with. And so, of course, I can see that, of course, I mean, anyone you want to spend more time with is someone you want to be in heaven with, because we're in hell, but we're creating hell so we can share our heavens with each other. So if you want to spend time with someone, that's someone that you want to share your heaven with. If you don't want to spend time with someone, that's because you feel like they're in hell. So I don't want to spend time with this person. I know he's in hell. I know that he's using me expressing my heaven to get lost in hell based on how he can only perceive me. Like, he can only perceive me as far as he perceives himself. So it doesn't matter how much of me is Chase am able to communicate to him the truths of Hermeticism and what Thoth really means. He is lost in his relationship with the Jesus version of Thoth and how white people have conditioned him to be racist while claiming to not be racist. So now when I'm here talking about how English has literally been the main cause for the genocide of indigenous peoples, he doesn't care about that. He cares about saying that I'm racist. He cares about then telling me that I can't accept myself because then I'm blaming other people and even an entire race for my own shortcomings. So he's like literally that's like, he's actually racist though. And this is like the issue with just hatred and racism. Racism, bro. Like, there's no better word. This is the definition of lost in light. When you're just so racist that you just can't communicate. Like, and I've dealt with this. And it's weird that I have to perceive it because I've had to deal with it so much organically in this world as a child growing up. like just dealing with racism on a daily basis as a child and then as a teenager and like going to conventions. And like I'm not even going to get into the racist experiences I had as a child, but specifically like my main realization as to how deep white people are in racism was when I would be at conventions and I'd have my Spider-Man costume on and everyone would love me. White people love me in my Spider-Man costume. We'll have great conversations for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, even a 20-minute conversation on the convention floor just to a crowd of white people. The moment I take my mask off, all of their body language changes. All of theirs. All of them. White people just freak out every time they see that, oh, his nose is big, his lips are kind of plump, oh, he has darker hair, it's curly, oh, wait, we were talking to a black person this whole time. So the racism here is wild, okay? And this man is clearly in it. The Emerald Tablets encourage it. It's what I am here to battle. So just know I have no problem with any individual ever. My problem is always with, individuals, yes, but never an individual who has their mind controlled by a language that they did not create. Let me say that. As Hermes, as a god of communication, as someone who actively creates his own simulations and thus his own languages to speak inside of those simulations and his own systems to power those simulations as spirits are speaking the languages that he created, I do this all the time. Again, I'm building simulations right now as a spirit. I'm just using my mind to communicate what's up into this body in a language that you understand based on how I understand it from my last 24 years of living here and having to operate organically and shutting off my awareness from who I am as a spirit so I can relate with how everyone is lost in the body and they're like projecting their soul into their bodies so much that they believe they are the body. So now they don't believe they can fast like Jesus. They don't believe that they can be God. Get tough. Always Ascending Academy, baby. So this is like the racism. Like this is the spiritual root cause of racism is toxic masculinity, and it is the obsession with projection. This and we see that. You see how easy it is for me to correlate all this? It's pretty cool. Because you're rolling with symmetry. It's simply symmetry. See why my tree is planted here? Because I was called away from my space of Mercury to relay the message of how all of us as spirits build life through communicating. So it's not a coincidence what I see. What I communicate and what I see and how I feel, none of it is a coincidence. It's all incredibly meaningful. And the fact that that's true for me means that it's true for every single other spirit in existence. Because I know that I as a spirit am the center of my universe. Meaning that if you as a spirit are able to communicate how you feel, that means you have a universe that you are the center of. It's now up to you if you're going to communicate how you are not the center of your own universe. And now you're going to tell me that I'm not the center of my own universe because you can only relate with me as far as you relate with yourself. Again, that Christian stuff. This is what has allowed the colonization and genocide of indigenous peoples to take place on such a massive global scale. People being obsessed with fire, obsessed with racism, projecting their imagination out. That's literally what racism is, right? I'm not black. For you to call me black means that you had to project a language into my space, make me learn the language, and then project out a word, make me learn that specific word, and then tell me that my soul is that word. So now I'm supposed to vibrationally resonate with this word every time you use it. So now you can manipulate how I feel based on how you throw this word black up. And now you can make me go here, or make me go here, or make me go here. And this is how the government makes money off of spirits. Again, this is like all realms and realities. It's like this naturally plays out. Okay? These people are not special. I mean, really, like, this government is clearly not anything. Like, that's what we're seeing. Like, people who have to actively steal everything from you to tell you that you're not creative are the most disgusting, ugliest, and actually weakest spirits in the universe. They may look powerful because it's Wizard of Oz. That's why they made that movie. That's the point of them making Wizard of Oz, right? They need to use technology that they stole from indigenous alien civilizations, higher intelligent civilizations, and turn it into their lower intelligent ugly stuff to then be able to make money off of confining how we communicate. And then it's just a cycle. So we're in this awakening right now because I'm called here. And it's not because I'm called here, it's because spirits aren't trying to live like this, and it takes all of us to awaken together. So I, as Mercury, as the synchronicity, as symmetry, am called here at the perfect time, born May 16th, 1997, to live out this lifestyle, all in the perfect ways. I graduated college the same year Avengers Endgame came out, and then I got to travel to Florida for an indigenous conference, and then to Senegal, Africa, to get hella in touch with all that, and then Brazil to get hella in touch with all that. I literally went like triangle the slave trade from Florida to Africa to Brazil, so that I could make better artwork about history. Because as symmetry, before all the Hermes Thoth stuff, this was before all that. Because like a big part of my awakening came from me doing ayahuasca in Brazil. So before that, like, I'm symmetry. I care about the concept of being able to take my mind from my body and travel throughout dimensions and relay the message of what actually happened, so that we can at least have the truth and at least all document that. Like, that was the point of symmetry. So like literally that's what I've always been doing as Mercury. That's why I can't get away from myself. All I can do is articulate who I am with the tools that I have in the moment, in the reality that I'm in. But it's only ever going to matter because of my soul, my feeling. So based on how I've connected with myself as a spirit, my feeling, my water is so solid inside of itself as earth. So I don't even have water in my chart. Like, I don't resonate with water like that. My life path is too, because I love water, but that's because I love the universe. I'm thought. All right, so that's where I'm Mercury in that way. I'm Earth. I'm a Virgo. I am the practicality that comes from connecting with myself so much that now I've just got it. And I have a simulation, like it's physical proof. Like, hey, look what happens when I connect with myself, a world. So then from there, like, that's the whole point. My world is only going to teach you how to connect with yourself. My world is never, ever, ever stupid about keeping you there. No, like, I like being alone in my own worlds. So I'm not trying to have people in my worlds who don't like being alone in their own worlds as well. Again, like, this is how I think. That's why I'm making this video. Because this person literally can't know how I think, and you can't know how I think. And it takes them saying this to ignite me in a way that makes me want to build this, so that now we can level up based on what I'm sharing. Because now your awareness of the universe, your awareness of how spirits operate mentally is like much greater based on listening to me piece together all these English words in this way. And if your awareness isn't bigger, then I don't believe you. Because the fact is, I just made you aware of my space of the universe in a way that you were not aware of it otherwise. That's the point. That's why you're waiting here. If you waited here all the way through this vibration, through this video, you as a spirit have become more aware of the universe. Because I'm a spirit building the universe. You can Google me, Tahuti Trismegistus. I'm a spirit building the universe. You're here growing in awareness based on how you're connecting with me. Because I'm building the universe from my own awareness. And then I grow in awareness based on how I watch other spirits build the universe from their awareness. That's why I built Mercury in general. This is my simulation of Mercury. That's the point. It's my world where I can go back to and be separate yet connected to the universe. So that I can observe how everything in the universe is being created by spirits who basically want to build families. So then that looks like nothingness coming into imagination and then creating a vibration based on how it connects with that imagination. And now everything's underwater. And then from there, we create the minds. So now everyone is traveling and flying underwater. But then from there, based on how we consistently communicate inside of this water, our earth settles into different atmospheres. And then that's where we get the universe, which is all water-based, but it's air. It's water-based, but it's air. And then the simulations inside the universe are Earth. That's where we are now. So we're in a simulation because we're on Earth. Because you are in a body that is allowing you to stabilize and practicalize how you're communicating in this realm. And then that's the point of weight. So the more you weight in a light, the less you're flying and the more you're dying, as in falling or transforming, and now we're here. So it's important to know that you got to take flight with your mind to be truly free, because your mind is purposefully anchoring itself into this body so that it can physically make things heavier and matter more. So that's what we're doing right now. Literally, like, you see this in your life. Like, what I'm saying is only natural. This is only how everyone operates. This is how we actually make things matter, right? Like, how long did it take for you to wait and connect with these words and these letters to be able to build a relationship with them in a way that now my sentences make sense to you, right? So this is how all of us as spirits make sense together. We have to wait and connect in the same structures and like build this same like subconscious watery universe that is vibrationally based. And all spaces are connected by water because we are all connected by our desire, our vibration, our feeling of wanting to connect with a space outside of ourselves. And then, of course, we're thusly all separated by our desire to separate from spaces. And even, separate from ourselves. That's the point of imagination. You as a spirit, knowing that you're nothing, your imagination is separate from all other spirits. So that's your ego. That's why it's important not to be so hard in your ego that you get lost in projecting out. Like, you can tell people who they are. Because that's how this person feels like he's able to tell me I'm not Thoth. Yet he can only tell me that from a place of saying that I need to worship the one true God. Or I need to truly understand the English version of the tablets, which the whole point of my post is that the Bible is whitewashed emerald tablets. And then even when you think you're reading the emerald tablets, you reading them in English means that it's all whitewashed, because the point of English was to whitewash the original spirituality that was written in a totally different indigenous language. So it takes me as Tahuti Trismegistus, as the spirit coming in to speak this English language and translate. So the fact that this person doesn't care means that they're literally in their ego. That means that they're literally in their fire. That's what whiteness is. That's what the rightness is, because it desires to be right. It desires to be right so hard that it's left out. See, like, that's what happens to the ego. I've never put the ego like that before. That's what happens to the ego. When you live too much in your ego, that's going to be a lot of art. That's like children's books. Like, when you live too much in your ego, that's your whiteness. And whiteness is to be seen. So the more you actually want to be seen, though, the more you're actually in your ego, the more you want to be right, you're going to be left out. Because the more individual you get, the less people can relate with you. That's the point of fire. This is why you don't see fire in nature too much. Because if we were like fully able to just express whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted, we would not have sustainable simulations. And this is throughout the universe, okay? So this is where spirituality becomes practical, okay? It's about empathy, and it's about contracts. It's about agreements. It's about literally what makes sense, okay? So obviously everything I'm saying makes sense. Like, everything that I talk about can only be built upon by people who want to use it to tell you that life doesn't make sense. But you can come right to the source, right to Hermes, and hear about how you are communicating yourself into existence based on my awareness of how I'm communicating myself into existence. If anyone's trying to tell you that you are part of their God, that's because they don't feel good about their universe. And that's just a hater. That's literally a hater, is someone who's showing you how to be greater. And a hater isn't even someone who hates you. A hater is someone who hates themselves. A hater is someone who hates themselves so much, they would rather not build their own simulation. They want to tear down your simulation. They want to tear down your situation. They want to throw a bunch of stones at you and cast I mean, yeah, cast stones at you, just stone you to death, basically. They see you flying. They literally want to cast stones at you and knock you out the sky because they hate themselves so much. They don't believe in their own ability to fly and hang out with you. I want all of you to hang out with me up here. Up in these higher dimensions, up in the astral realm, it's lit. It's way closer to imagination. It's way closer to you being able to do what you feel like doing. Like, it's the opposite here. Here, we do what makes sense. And what makes sense is made up. And then that's where we're seeing that ideas are actually ruling this reality. So now it's about, like, who's connecting with the ideas to now create this wave that we all have to ride. Like, it doesn't matter how much of a god as to Hootie Trismegistus I am. If I'm going to relate with all of you, I had to come in here and relate with ideas that I don't fully resonate with and ride a wave that I don't fully resonate with, which is why I hate it so much here. That's why I fast, why I'm able to hold my own consciousness and have my own soul and have my own vibration. I love myself so much, I hate anything that separates me from me. And that's honestly any simulation, but especially a simulation that's teaching me that I'm a part of something else, that's telling me that I'm an extension of someone else's imagination. So now I have to constantly learn about that person's imagination to somehow learn about myself. So this, yeah. There's no other way that life is made other than the top down. Okay? It's just the fact is, then people experience it from the bottom up. And if you're lost in your experience, then you're actually going to think you're creating life from the bottom up. You think you're somehow going to create life by making earth and then air, and then water, and then fire, and that's how you will achieve the spirit. Which, impossible. No, so again, it only makes sense one way. It only makes sense one way. Nothingness creates something because it feels like being something other than nothing. And once it does that, it's alone inside of its own imagination, and thus its own circumstances. And once it becomes aware that it is alone in its own circumstances, it is able to turn from fire into water and create a soul that allows it to connect with other spirits who have done the same thing. This is why all life is water-based, and why, again, we are all connected by water, separated by fire. So now we're connected by water. We can look out into the sky. We can see how everything is water, but then we are all stars inside of this water. Like, I'm a piece of fire. Like, I'm a lighter. You see, like, I can shine. I have like a 5-pointed star body. Stars look like fire. It's about fire can only exist inside of water, and that's what air is. So now everything's actually chi. Everything is actually energy. Everything's actually air. And then that's where the thing itself that you can see is actually earth. It's just that the thing that you can see is only existing and only vibrating inside of air, because it needed to create air before it could create a body. It could create earth that exists inside of that air. So this is why all lights, all earth, all things, all structures exist inside of an atmosphere. They exist because spirits felt like communicating on an idea that they're connecting on. So this is why all structures represent whatever spirits communicated the idea that they're connecting on into existence. And this is why all structures are transforming based on how the spirits are consistently communicating how they feel like connecting upon that idea into existence. Again, like, this is just what I'm naturally into. Like, anyone who's trying to tell me I'm not me is, I'd love to talk to you. Like, that's why, like, tell me about who I am. Like, shit. I'm not me. That's news to me. Who am I? Tell me who I am. Like, that's great. I would love for you to tell me who I am. And then all of us as an audience, everyone who's tapping into the symmetry, is just going to learn about who you are based on how you're trying to tell me who I am. So, like, what, you're going to, like, tell me that I'm actually just a meat sack named Chase Clarence Calloway, that I am my name, I am my language, I am how you perceive me? That's cool. And now everyone can watch you say that, and we'll move on with life. And we'll see what makes more sense, what I'm saying or what you're saying. I mean, again, I'm about it. Like, I'm here for the open communication. Like, please, tell me more about how I'm not me, and then express all this garbage about Thoth and stuff. Because all we are all going to do as Mercurian spirits, because look, on Mercury, like, let me get on Mercury, we don't gossip. All right, we don't talk is cheap if you're not building something with it. Okay, so this is my Virgo Gemini mode. When I'm in my toxic Gemini gossips. That's why they both start with G, kind of, because it's about separating yourself. So when you gossip, you're separating yourself from everything, right? Like when you're communicating about everything you see, you're gossiping, you're generating hate, literally. So you're gossiping, you're separating yourself. And that's where Gemini, yeah, that's toxic and shit. Virgo is about building practical things that mold to the environment. So Mercury, all right, we cut out again. So, of course, gossiping is negative. Gossiping is negative, but not necessarily bad. We're talking about nature. This is what naturally happens when you communicate about what you see. So when you communicate about other people and about what other people are doing, we can call that gossiping, but it's also necessary for you to separate from the simulation, from the situation, so that you can cultivate your own atmosphere and learn more about yourself as a spirit. So now you can connect with whatever spirits you're gossiping with based on what you're seeing. So that's Gemini energy. That's air energy in that Gemini way of just communicating about what you're seeing. And then it depends on like what's the point in doing that? Like, why are you communicating about what you're seeing? Are you trying to build something better in the future, or are you trying to tear people down, basically? And in my relationship with the word gossip and everything, it's generally used when people are communicating about others with the intention of tearing them down, not building them up. So the point of Mercury then, my Virgo side, is to turn that Gemini into Virgo, turn that mutable air into mutable earth, and build a structure that's constantly shifting like tectonic plates. That's like what Mercury looks like. It's like, I don't even need to get into what Mercury looks like. It's very cool. But it's a lot of shifting earth. It's constant like shifting and like getting new ground, but always stable in that. It's really neat. And the point is, energetically, it reflects how we are earth that is molding to how chaotic the universe is. So as the universal vibration is just woo woo, and all spirits are just simulations are doing that simulations, blah blah blah, just coming out, in and out, in and out. We are communicating about it and building our own thing. And then it's lit. And then that's how we gain wisdom. So all the spirits who like vie with me on Mercury, my Mercurian death spirits, my indigenous death spirits, is basically how I like to coin them. Like they really fit out with the teeth, because we're all about teeth. That's why we got Decolonize Your Face. That's why I, as Chase Clarence Calloway, am not only the creator of the Caduceus, I'm the one who has realized how teeth actually work in the body and how they connect to the spine and how we can fix our own issues with our own minds. And how metal and braces and all that extra stuff actually creates issues inside of us, because I went through that as part of my journey here. I did it for you because I love you. And I also did it for me because I get to learn about myself based on how I love you, right? So I love people based on how they're able to love themselves. You can't just be loving everyone if they don't love themselves. I love people who don't love themselves in terms of I appreciate their space in the universe, and I hope that they do love themselves, but I'm not going to go out of my way to help them, quote unquote. So that's the point again. Mercury, I'm called away here. The fact that this person won't even care about Thoth building Mercury, or like just how everything I'm saying makes sense spiritually, again, that's what we get to learn from. I've cultivated this whole atmosphere, this 2-part response. That's hilarious. This is over 2 hours plus. So longest cosmic conversations to date. And I mean, it just happened in perfect timing with like my awakening and me being able to separate and travel and do all this stuff now. So it's just kind of like communication. Had to happen this way, I suppose. Whatever. Got ignited. I got inspired. important that you know that you are a spirit creating your life from the inside out. I love you. Stay awesome. Stay individual. And please be empathetic to other individuals while protecting yourself from toxic, masculine, white supremacist projectors who want to say that you're a part of their imagination so that they can make all of your feelings serve their thoughts. We got to keep ourselves safe from people like that. Yeah.